and F Mitch McConnell and the horse he rode in on. You're being sent there to throw him into the lake of fire, not get a funding check. If $8 million from Mitch McConnell is standing between you and a U.S. Senate seat, then the MAGA movement is a paper tiger. You know what you ought to do? You ought to be fundraising off of that. You send a damn email to every MAGA name on your list and say, Mitch McConnell doesn't want me to win. Put that right in the subject line. I'll donate to that. Let me give you a timeline of events. Blake Masters ran in a primary that he won fairly convincingly as a pro-life without exceptions candidate. Personhood candidate, no exceptions, life begins at conception, which is my position. Shortly after winning the primary, the Senate fund overseen by Deace pulled about half of its advertising and pulled about half of an $8 million buy, or maybe it was $8 million of a $16 million. I can't remember what it was. I just know it was half. Pulled half of the ad buy for him in Arizona when he's already being dramatically outspent by Democrats and their incumbent Mark Kelly. Shortly after that event, and I believe I even commented, if it wasn't here, I certainly mentioned it on Twitter, well, they just don't want him to win. I mean, Deace is going to is just telling you he doesn't want to back people that he isn't confident will vote for him for majority leader. Doesn't think Blake Masters will do that, so he doesn't want him to win. Shortly after that event, Blake Masters went on his campaign website and scrubbed his previous pro-life position to now claim that he believes there ought to be a ban on abortions at 20 weeks, which is actually to the left of the Dobbs decision, because remember, that was over the Mississippi bill that was at 15 weeks. So he moved to the left of the U.S. Supreme Court. In fact, let me even make it more circumspect. He moved to the left of John Roberts. Roberts voted for a 15-week bill, did not vote for the overturning of Roe, as I recall, right? Okay. It was 6-3 to uphold Dobbs, 5-4 to overturn Roe. Roberts voted for a 15-week abortion ban, would not vote to overturn Roe. So Blake Masters, according to his website, is to the left of John Roberts on abortion today.
So you're saying if he didn't even sell out smartly? Like he could have just said, I support Dobbs, which has got a lot of rah-rah behind it.
I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Yes. So let me do this from the outset, because I understand that there's a lot of people that thought Roe was bad law, thought we had too many abortions, baby killings icky, and we're all for the overturning of Roe, that aren't really pro-life. Or, to be as fair and magnanimous as I can be, haven't yet truly wrestled with the life issue all the way to its point of origin. I think that's fair, right? And believe me, I don't think it's productive. I am pro-life without exceptions. You guys all know my story. Furthermore, I've got rape, incest, all those things in my family that they tell you it's okay to kill a kid if it was conceived this way. I can name those children. They're family members of mine, people I'm related to, people I love dearly. They're not exceptions, they're people. I think I've made that point abundantly clear throughout the course of my career. Is there any singular issue I have waged more war on than the life issue in the history of this show or in my entire career? No. But I also, though, recognize that at the dawn stages of a post-Roe America, with a lot of people that are warm to what I believe, but yet don't fully believe it, it doesn't benefit me at all to just totally tell people, now that we got a bunch of new people attending the Church of Pro-Life, let me put it in that analogy. Now that we got a bunch of people attending the Church of Pro-Life, if you don't yet have a fully systemically developed theology yet as a new convert, we're throwing you out of here. Is that a good way to conduct a church?
It is not.
It is not. So if it's not a good way to conduct a church, when we're dealing with the, stuff that is always eternal, it certainly is not a way to conduct probably a good moral or political movement. Fair?
Fair.
So this isn't even about the morality of Blake Masters' new position. It's not even about that. It's really not. Even though I find his position, you should know this, very immoral. I find his position very immoral. But it's really not actually about the morality.
So I was tracking with where you were going.
And I want to go to something that I know a guy who's a very good friend of our show. I don't think we've met him yet, but he has shared a lot of our work. Scott Moorfield over at townhall.com has done some great stuff during the fight against COVID, right? Mm-hmm. He's quoted our show and stuff, and he tweeted something back to me in response to my spanking of Blake Masters on Twitter yesterday. He says it's, let me see where this is at. Oh, here we go. I hear you, but like it or not, quote, no abortions, no exceptions, just not a viable political position in the vast majority of America. And frankly, it's hurting Republicans. In my opinion, a 15-week ban seems more than reasonable, is politically sustainable, and would save many lives. I don't disagree with that political analysis at all. And I don't believe taking that position is why Blake Masters is killing himself right now. The reason Blake Masters is killing himself right now is because of the chain of events I just laid out for you. In the primary, I said I was pro-personhood. Life begins at conception. I win the primary going away. Carrie Lake, man, was counting the last, they counted those votes for like 2 days, right? Blake Masters, they called that thing in a couple hours. He rolled. If anybody should be scrubbing their website's abortion issue, you'd think it would be the gal that barely won her primary.
Right.
Not the guy who roll tide through it, but he did. After that, then he did this after Mitch McConnell cut his funding off. Are you tracking with me here?
Yes.
This is a lose-lose. This is a self-inflicted Kobayashi Maru. Blake Masters has voluntarily put himself into a no-win position. At the very least, there is prima facie evidence that Blake Masters reinvented his life position in order to curry favor with Mitch McConnell to get funding for his Senate campaign. That may not be true, I don't know, but the timing of events is unquestioned. So it's at least an option. It's not nuts to suggest it.
No.
Which, if you're in Blake Masters' base, he has sent you here 2 signals. One, that he will abort his abortion issue for political expediency. And I'm sure the fact that he scrubbed it from his website, if Democrats don't seemingly want to debate this year, I can't understand why. I mean, I don't know why they're not anxious. Open borders, empty prisons, record inflation, record gas prices, and green shirts in Ukraine while you can't heat your home. I mean, I can't understand why they're not lining up to debate Republicans this fall with that agenda, right? But let's assume Mark Kelly agrees to a debate. I'm sure Mark Kelly will never bring up, hey, Blake, do you still believe that women who get raped shouldn't be allowed abortions like what you had on your website back before you won the, when you won the, I'm sure Mark's never going to bring that up, right? Never. I'm sure Mark, they don't have Google in the Mark Kelly headquarters. They didn't read the CNN article about it. I'm sure they're completely unaware that Blake Masters scrubbed his previous abortion position in weakness and will never try to confront it with him later on. I'm sure that it'll never come up. But they're completely unaware. In fact, they probably listen to the Steve Deace show and like, oh, snap, Blake Masters changed his abortion position. How did we not know? Thanks, Deace. Sure they didn't. I'm sure they didn't know. I'm sure they had no plans to ask about this. You?
All I have is a visual of Sideshow Bob in the middle of a bunch of rakes stepping on them right now.
Correct. Here's the second, and maybe if there's something even worse than showing weakness on abortion, given who Blake Masters is, the constituency he represents, this is it. He has shown you, at least you can suspect, that he will do Mitch McConnell's bidding. Because if Mitch McConnell was running Blake Masters' campaign, this would have been his abortion position the entire time. And so now you could at least guess, it's not crazy, given the timing of events, that Blake Masters changed his position, not necessarily out of fear of Mark Kelly or pro-choice Republican women, of which there's frankly not many, but out of fear that he won't get the funding from McConnell he needs to win his race. If you can't say no to Mitch McConnell from 2,000 miles away today. Yeah, I'm sure, bruh, you're going to be the guy right to Mitch McConnell's face to say no to him and drain the swamp. I'm sure you will. There's no win here. Blake Masters is up there. Blake, you're lifting your skirt. Mitch ain't buying, bro. He's not pimping you out. You're not on his list. You're not going to get the Newport lights. He's not going to send you the splotchy green eyeliner, man. He's not giving you his secret, text phone, his burner phone to, text him, how many Johns you did tonight and how much money you collected. You're not on the list, brother. There's nothing you could do to get on his list. You've been on Tucker Carlson's show too many times. You're branded. It's never happening. So why are you even trying this? Who advised you to do it? There's no win here. You sent a message to the strongest, most loyal voting bloc Republicans have, the pro-life movement, that you will be weak there. You got lit up by Lila Rose, of all people, last night. I don't know that I've known Lila. How many times has she been on this show over the years?
Yeah.
I cannot recall Lila Rose lighting up a Republican candidate like she did Blake Masters last night.
Her MO isn't really.
That's not her. That's
up.
the Steve Deace.
Yeah.
That's not Lila. Okay. She's Lila. She's a sweetie. Okay. If you're getting lit up by Lila Rose while also trying to curry favor to Mitch McConnell, here's your sign. Okay. This campaign needs an intervention. You're going to lose. It will be your own fault. It doesn't have to be that way. See, if you would have taken the position that this was your abortion position the entire time, I don't even know that I would have known. Like, if his position the entire time was we should overturn Roe, it's bad law, and I'm for a 15-week ban like Dobbs, we would probably have never even investigated any further than that.
Right.
We would not even know. Instead, he did it backwards. Let me take the very principled position to win you in the primary and then spread eagle for Washington, D.C. That's the Jeff Flake, John McCain game, brah. You're off brand, Blake. Who are you? Why are you running? Who are you supposed to be? Who do you want people to think you are? Because this strategy will cost you a point or 2 or 5 with your own base. And then when none of the people you're trying to persuade, Mitch McConnell, I guess, did you guys read any headlines? Hey, Mitch is back in the Senate race. Just wrote him a big check. Nothing? No?
No.
No. And there is no one who is going to vote for Mark Kelly, who looked at the invasion at your southern border, Blake. No Arizonan alive. Looked at the invasion at your southern border and thought, Mark Kelly, I'm voting for him again. Oh, wait. Blake Masters, he amended his abortion position, so I care about the invasion at the southern border now and won't vote for Mark Kelly. That person doesn't exist either. This is a lose-lose. You got nothing out of this. Nothing. This is the big leagues, brother. These aren't spots on Fox News anymore. This is now open warfare. Better come correct. Check your staff. Make sure your staff knows what they're doing, what they're up to. Because this is amateur hour stuff. Let me write a book on how to get my ass kicked. This won't work. That dog ain't going to hunt. My advice, take the upcoming Labor Day weekend, get together with the people who you trust the most, and have a serious assessment of what we're doing here right now and get back on track to where we were before this all started. Because this ain't going to do it. This is going to hand Mark Kelly another 6 years in the U.S. Senate. I understand that, just to wrap up the Blake Masters conversation, some of you are like, man, that sounded a little harsh. I thought you said you were going to try to save his campaign. I just did. I know the paradigm is when most people, and a lot of them are a lot richer than me, so maybe this is what you want. When they say things like that, it's they're going to kiss the guy's ass. They're going to explain away all the stupid stuff he's doing. They're going to say it's your fault for expecting more and you're being divisive and you don't want the Democrat to win. And your people like you are going to be the reason why you're not on a ballot. This has never been your fault. And that's coming from the guy that has spent most of this week saying, this is your fault. All right. So I've got no problem telling you when I think it's your fault. This isn't your fault. Blake Masters is on the ballot, not you. You did your job. You found the guy who campaigned and went after you as an anti-establishment voice. You found him, you supported him, and you got him the nomination. You did your job. It is now time for him to do his. And this ain't it. I'm sure when Alabama sucks in the first half, Nick Saban goes in there and says, guys, it's really not your fault. I mean, the refs are against you. We called all the wrong plays. It's not your fault. And really, if Alabama fans are booing the fact that you sucked in the first half, they're the problem. Do you think that's what Nick Saban probably does?
I do not.
Hell no, that's not what he does. You don't want to know the words that come out of his mouth. They're NC-17. I gave you the PG-13. This is real life, Blake. Man up, bro. This ain't going to cut it. This is how you're going to get rolled. People wanted a younger, hipper John McCain. They would have voted for your primary opponent. Or would have gone to somebody else. They want the guy they voted for in the primary. I understand. It's a broader audience in the general. So find a smart, clever way to present yourself to a broader audience that doesn't actually rip off your own limbs in the process. Because cutting off your nose to spite your face, ask President Romney how well that worked. Ask President McCain if that works. Donald Trump ate taco salads for Cinco de Mayo, referred to that one Mexican judge, and began the vanguard of a large swath of Hispanic voters moving to the GOP. Goodness, did no one pay attention the last few years? Does the former never Trump guy now need to say to the MAGA candidates, do you even MAGA, bro? Do you even MAGA, bro? Really? I got to teach you guys how to MAGA now? He violated every norm, insulted every possible constituency group.
One.
Anyone. So, I
know.
He's pulling ahead of Mehmet Oz and Doug Mastriano in Pennsylvania right now. What people want, Blake, is Blake Masters. They want the Blake Masters they saw on Tucker Carlson all those times. I'm not saying to not find a way to present yourself in a broader context, but present yourself. And F Mitch McConnell and the horse he rode in on. You're being sent there to throw him in a lake of fire, not get a funding check. If $8 million from Mitch McConnell is standing between you and a U.S. Senate seat, then the MAGA movement is a paper tiger. You know what you ought to do? You ought to be fundraising off of that. You send a damn email to every MAGA name on your list and say, Mitch McConnell doesn't want me to win. Put that right in the subject line. I'll donate to that. Mitch McConnell doesn't want me to win because he knows I'll vote against him for majority leader because he knows I'll go there to drain the swamp. So he's pulling the funding from this race to go support RINOs instead. That's why I need your support. Send it to me. Who's running your campaign, Blake? It's amateur hour. You just got fundraising gold. Gold. How many damn texts I've gotten from Ron Johnson since that Fox News poll came out that had him down by 5 points? 7,000, I believe, is the answer. You just got MAGA fundraising, street cred gold, Jerry, gold. And you responded by scrubbing the abortion issue from your website. No, dude, that won't win. We want you to win, Rock. Win, Rock, win. And you win by throwing haymakers, not by hiding beneath your gloves.